When you get angry, you generally lose out. Anger is said to arise from awareness or recognition of being exposed to danger, as a primitive response. Why people get angry can be attributed to various reasons, but usually it can be traced back to feeling betrayed in response to an expectation. Or it could be a form of self-defense. One thing that can be asserted is that those who get angry often end up losing out. In the workplace, they may be entrusted only with easy tasks. In friendships, they may be avoided, and in romantic relationships, they may not last long. This is because they are often perceived as someone who is unpredictable and who can be exhausting to deal with. As a reason, they may be seen as stepping on a landmine at any given moment, or being tired of dealing with them. First and foremost, getting angry does not resolve anything. Even if it appears to be resolved by getting angry, it may have only been resolved because the other person gave in to you, and the problem may not have been resolved. If you continue to do this, the other person may become dissatisfied and may cause them to distance themselves from you. Whether you feel angry or not during a conversation, the outcome of that conversation will generally not change. For example, please recall a recent incident where you became angry with someone. Now, imagine that the person you were angry with was 230 centimeters tall, had bulging muscles, and was easily capable of crushing your ribcage with a single punch. Furthermore, imagine that there was no one around and no security cameras. Would you still feel angry? If you answered yes, you may be an extreme warrior or someone who is unafraid of danger, or you may have a fatal flaw in your anger management. In that case, please consult with a specialist. If you answered no to the above question, you gave up control of your emotions and are someone who tends to be dependent on others in situations where they become angry. People who get angry at varying degrees, depending on the situation and the person they are dealing with, are generally able to control their anger and make the decision to get angry after doing so. Some people believe that it's natural for humans to get angry, but on the other hand, it's worth considering what you might lose as a result of your anger. Representative losses are: 1. Time. If you get into an argument as a result of getting angry during a conversation, you may end up spending far more time than you would have if you had not become angry. 2. Wasted energy. Getting angry wastes your energy. In terms of stress levels and fatigue, resolving a situation without anger is far less draining than resolving a situation while angry. 3. Evaluation by third parties. Even if you are in the right, those who are not involved in the situation may view you coldly. While you may be understood, you may not be understood at all. 4. Lack of judgment. You may not be able to understand what the other person is saying or may say something that shouldn't be said. 5. Interpersonal relationships. As mentioned earlier, the more you get angry, the more cracks you create in your interpersonal relationships. The reason for this is simple: I don't want to get involved. Why do we get angry in the first place? Reasons include threats to our well-being, our life, family, friends, values, position, and pride. Betrayal of expectations and disappointment with the outcome. Things aren't the way they should be, or we can't do what we want. Examples of situations that people who are easily angered often fall into. For example, they get angry to protect their own pride and self-esteem. However, if they start shouting and yelling, while they may think they have protected their pride, others may perceive it as a breach of trust or expectation towards them. In that case, there is a high probability that their relationship with the person they were angry with and the surrounding people will be damaged in order to protect their own pride. Furthermore, in such a case, if the other person did not intend to violate your pride, but you perceived it that way, then your anger is just a misunderstanding to begin with. As a result, what you have protected is your own emotions and the opportunity to abandon emotional control temporarily. What you have lost is your human relationships. After discussing anger thus far, a supplement for people who tend to become emotional is that you should try recording the situation when you are angry with a video, and then watch it once without any of the emotions or feelings from that time. Is that the you that you wanted to be? Overall, people who are easily angered are often evaluated as hysterical, small-minded, or pathetic. As an exception, anger can be effective in avoiding certain individuals, such as scammers. Strategies for dealing with anger include setting acceptable boundaries, such as a forgivable zone, a tolerable zone, and an unacceptable zone. Both those who are quick to anger and those who are not tend to have the same forgivable zone limits. The key is to enlarge the tolerable zone and shrink the unacceptable zone. Individuals who are less prone to anger tend to have a larger, tolerable zone, allowing them to avoid becoming angry more frequently. In situations where anger is difficult to avoid, take 6 seconds to practice deep breathing before responding. Online or on the phone, it is acceptable to say, "Just a moment," and take the time to breathe deeply. In face-to-face situations, excuse yourself and take a moment to leave the room. This is a psychological technique for interrupting the escalating anger voltage before it explodes. Summary: feeling angry is normal for human beings, but it can often be inappropriate in human society. This applies to situations at work, in the family, and in friendships. Especially among adults, misunderstandings and communication errors are likely to occur unless the situation is deliberately created. If it is simply a matter of personality incompatibility, there is no need to get angry, and if possible, it is best to avoid the person altogether. Even if you cannot avoid them, it is best to try not to engage with them as much as possible. One angry outburst can lead your life in a negative direction, so handle your anger with care.